Good morning to all of you. Normally, we may be seeing certain false cases. Maybe a case of rape also. There are certain cases where the complainant willfully wanted to implicate the alleged accused in a rape case, and it is easy also. Of course, by experience, you will know as to how easy it is to implicate a person in a false case. But I don't say that all rape cases are false cases. 100% true. Only 0.01 or 0.2% cases are definitely false cases. Now here we are seeing a woman being prosecuted for filing a false case of rape. This is more important. Normally, the courts will have a considerate view. Normally, what they say is the accused could not be, the guilt could not be proved beyond all reasonable doubt against the accused, even though the burden of proof lies on him. Like that, they will acquit the accused. But here is a case where the complainant, a woman by name Ruchika Mehra, since now she is the accused, I am telling her name. Otherwise, there is absolutely no necessity. Let us not mention the names quite often because it's a rape case. She was directed, the concerned police were directed to file a prosecution against her under section 199, 200, 190, actually 193, 194, all these sections the court has given. Right. Now, let's go into the details of the case. Actually, this relates to crime number 88 by 20, crime number 8 by 20, registered under section 376 within bracket D, that is gang rape, 323, minor injury, 504, intimidation, and 506 also, read with 34 in YEPS, WAIPS on 18/1/20. This relates to Bombay High Court. So why in Maharashtra state? So the allegations are that the accused Manish Malani, who is a Karodapati having 80 acres of land which is worth about thousands of crores in Pune, and some people, they wanted to grab the land by preparing certain forged documents, which is not possible, and the court honorably gave directions in his favor. And of course, an advocate also who is in amicable terms with him by name Suryavamshi. So Malani has got amicable attitude towards the so-called an advocate by name Suryavamshi, who wanted to implicate this Malani in false cases, and one such false case is a case of rape filed by Ruchika Mehra against him. According to her, on 24/7/2019 at about 4 p.m., the accused, that is Manish Malani, and two friends, under the false promise of giving the complainant a job in a hotel as a receptionist, Hotel Panchganj. They took her to the open place or the isolated place where she was subjected to molestation or sexual assault or rape by these people. All these three people committed rape on her, and one of them took photographs also and video, and they have threatened her. So this incident took place on 24/7/2019. Ultimately, during the first month of 2020, she gave the report in YEPS. It was registered as crime number 8 by 20 under different sections already. So the police took up investigation. No doubt, the ASI, actually he was a very smart person. He has taken up the investigation, and he could establish that the so-called Malani was not present in India at that particular point of time. He was away. So therefore he contacted the foreign regional registration officer, Mumbai, and obtained the details that Malani was not at all present in India at that particular point of time. Therefore, how can he commit rape against her? So this is the million-dollar question. Of course, the inspector and others, they did not agree with him, and they said that when a woman comes to the police station and says that she was ravished, it is our duty to file the charge sheet and let the court decide what will happen. But this has gone to the notice of the higher officials, and Malani was also an influential person he has used influence. Ultimately, the matter was inquired by the IB also. Ultimately, they stated that it is a false case. The police filed the final report stating that she has the rape case is false case. In the meanwhile, what was done is her statement was recorded on the 161 statement also, right? Now, when the case was referred as false, normally according to section 173 clause 2 CRPC, a notice has to be served on her. When the court sent a notice, she has filed a protest petition saying that no, he was present and he has raped her. All these allegations were made. But after going to the file, after going to the CDRs, that is call data records and all these things, the court came to the conclusion that she has purposefully, wantonly involved him in this false allegation of rape case with the support of the so-called advocate Surya Vamsi. Therefore, her protest petition has been dismissed and now the original part. So when the court is satisfied that she has given a false declaration, now the court wanted to take action against her for perjury. Here the main important point is, not only she has given the statement FIR, it's okay, but as regards 164 statement, she is expected to shown to speak only the truth, but she has spoken falsehood even before the magistrate. So why we get the record statements recorded in 164? It is sanctity. The court, when once it is recorded before the court, means definitely it will have its own sanctity for that purpose. So she has tried to dupe the court also. So now the court has taken a very serious view. Now therefore, they have directed, of course you may be knowing, whenever such perjury cases do come under section 193, the person who is in charge, according to section 195 CRPC, the court has to delegate the powers to a person, so before whom the so-called statement is given. This is the IO. Normally, the SHO has to file a complaint against her. Therefore, they have directed the SHO YEPS to file a complaint, and according to 340 CRPC, the procedure will go on. They will take it on file, they will call her, they will summon her, and ultimately the judgment will be given. So please remember 195. So the person who is injured or whose evidence is, it is definitely he has to give the complaint. Just like 188, you may be knowing. Suppose if you want to file a case under 188 APC, the persons whose orders are violated, he has to give the complaint, not the police. Like that. 340 is the procedural aspect. All these things, I think you know better. I need not reiterate. Now, a case under sections 193, all of you know, that is punishment for false evidence. So it may be extended to 3 years. Then 194 is fabricating false evidence with intent to procure conviction of a capital offense. So here, if the rape is proved, definitely he will go to jail or life imprisonment will be there. So that is 199. Then they have added 199 also. 194 I told you. 199 I will tell you once again. 199 is unilateral. False statement made in declaration. That is 164. False statement made in declaration, which is by law receivable as evidence. 164, it has got so much of evidential value. She wanted to disturb that also. And ultimately 200. Using as true such a declaration, knowing it to be false. So all these sections were booked against her, as well as our 211 furnishing false information. So all these sections now they will booked. Of course, the court will take its own decision, and definitely I think she may be convicted. Please remember, it is the first of its kind where a woman was subjected to the so-called false allegation or the so-called false evidence case. Normally, the courts will be considered, they don't involve the woman. Here is the first case, first of its kind. So please read the judgment. An advocate has sent it to me. Right, very good judgment. And please remember, nobody is above the law. Even woman also has to face the wrath of the court. Right? Thank you.